This episode of the Brilliance plus Passion podcast is brought to you by Groundhog Day is an event, not a business strategy. Are you ready to finally solve those pesky issues that keep holding back your business success and never seem to go away? Embrace the power of the S.P.R.I.N.G formula that unearths the issues and opportunities burrowed beneath the surface, and grow your business so you thrive from your intersection of your brilliance and your passion. Claim your copy today at www.thegroundhogbook.com. Welcome to the Brilliance plus Passion podcast. Join us as we celebrate entrepreneurs, business creators, and brilliant minds who reveal what they are doing to make the world a better place by being part of it. Be sure to visit our website at www.brilliancepluspassion.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now sit back, lean in, tune in, get your notepad and 2 pens ready, and let's get started.
My name is Adam Homey. I'm your host, and I am honored by your wise decision to tune in and invest in yourself today. Right now, we are speaking with Christoph Nauer. He is somebody you're going to enjoy getting to know. He's a business coach and is the founder of Balance 6 Incorporated. Christoph helps business owners develop systems so they can improve productivity, profits, and personal life by balancing 6 things. Now, we're going to ask him about this in just a moment. So I'm just going to let you know that to discover more about Christoph Nauer, visit our website at www.brilliancepluspassion.com, find his episode, and check out the show notes. There's a lot of interesting stuff. He has a fantastic story. Christoph, welcome aboard. It's so great to have you here today.
Wonderful to be there, Adam. Thanks for having me.
You bet. So first question, and I started to touch on this, but I want to hear from you in your own words. How does the work you do make the world a better place for your clients, customers, and the world at large?
Well, what I do is I specialize in helping business owners, and I help them increase their work-life balance in a nutshell. As you may know, as a business owner, we always have a lot going on. And we have to learn, right? We have to learn to balance those things that we have to do and focus on the critically important items and not so much on the more trivial items. So prioritizing is a huge component of the work I do. So what that does for business owners, that they have a successful business and a fulfilling personal life as well. So I work with my clients to really change the way businesses are run, to be really put it very aggressively.
Right. So normally I would follow up by asking, so what do you do? But you've kind of already answered that. What I'd like to share is just to get your thoughts on something, actually. And I've noticed, even in myself sometimes, that there is a distinction between activity and action. I cover this in my book, Groundhog Day is an event, not a business strategy. And you see entrepreneurs, business owners, innovators who are extremely busy. They it seems like there's always something to do, but is it all busy work? And I found myself in situations sometimes where I will be really busy, but then where's the productivity? And it's a natural thing. And I don't think we should ever condemn ourselves for occasionally finding ourselves in that situation, but rather to look at it and gain further learning. So is this something that you see in your practice where folks will convince themselves or create the impression for themselves that they're actually very busy and very productive, but it's more taking up time and bandwidth than it is actually creating something?
Yes, I love it that you bring up busyness and productivity. Those are not necessarily the same.
Right.
Quite often, business owners, they keep busy. They work on things that are not really the most important items to work on. And so I help them to really focus on the things that are critically important. Look and develop systems so they can delegate everything else. You really should only be working on the things that you're an expert in. What is it that you solve? What problem do you solve? What service do you provide? And what is your expertise? And that's what you want to focus on, and not do things that could be done by somebody else.
Right.
And if we have time, I can share a brief story to illustrate my point.
You know what? We do have a couple minutes, and even if we go a minute or two over, so what? I love stories.
All right. This is about a dentist. He came to me because his wife was upset with him for bringing work home. Now you would think, how on earth can that happen? Well, he came home with a briefcase full of paperwork. And so she basically said, either you change this or my son and I are out of here. So he was under the gun to change that. So what I noticed is when I started working with him, he started doing somebody else's work. He trained to be a dentist, to fix teeth, not to do paperwork. So it took a while for us to work on that and help him to let go. But eventually he was able to add about 20 new patients to his practice. And when he came home for dinner, he came home with an empty briefcase and was there to have a fulfilled personal life. And that's kind of like this. I like to use this story to illustrate my point.
With me, and because I see one thing that some entrepreneurs and business owners really pride themselves on is being on top of their email all the time. I don't even necessarily check my email every day. And I've noticed that the more productive I am, the less outgoing email I have. I really only forensically go through it about once a week, but I don't miss things. And here are the reasons why. My top paying clients can messenger me or Skype me whenever my green light is on. I have routine scheduled calls with them every single week. Furthermore, my assistant has all the access she could possibly need, and I have multiple websites. Hear what I said: multiple websites, not web pages, websites that are hosted for the specific purpose of helping people to get on my calendar. They don't even have to ask me first. Like, and even this show that we're on right now, the Brilliance plus Passion Project, people can book interviews with me without running that by me first. So I've used systems and communication streams to optimize how people can reach me. I'm probably one of the most accessible people you'll ever meet. That doesn't necessarily mean the same as available, and it doesn't mean I'll respond to your email in 2.5 minutes. I'm in a business relationship with somebody right now where she has email, but the way we really communicate is through Messenger. And I found that out very quickly in a relationship. That's how she's best responsive, because her work keeps her physically moving around all the time. So to have parameters like, well, I answer all emails within 3 hours. Bullshit. Unless you hire somebody, you're really not going to do that if you're going to be innovative. So in your experience, above and beyond what we've already discussed, what are a few of the common questions, the FAQs that people have as they're going through their process of making their decision to work with you?
So, for instance, sometimes they will ask, well, how does that work? They may also say, what sets you apart from other business coaches? And I know we're going to talk about that a little bit later. How soon will I see results?
Yeah.
How much does it cost? Of course, there's always that question as well. However, people only ask, they only shop for price if they don't perceive the value, So those are some questions that I get not too often, but if you ask for the most common ones, those will be the ones.
Those are some good ones. Now, what are a few questions you wish people would ask?
How soon can I start?
Yes.
Can you please train my team too? Or what books or programs can you recommend?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Also, I also need help with XYZ. Do you know someone in this field?
Yeah, no one's in the many interviews we've done on this project, nobody's ever raised that as a should ask question. Who else do you know in this field? Because what if you are the provider of that? If they didn't ask the question, how would they ever know?
Exactly. And I can't solve every problem,
right.
But I know several of my clients said that it was just so incredibly wonderful to work with me, because if they needed a connection, they had access to my network. And those are people that I have vetted, that I feel comfortable sending referrals to. So,
yes.
And I love to connect people. I mean, that's another thing I just love to do.
That's what this project is really all about, is creating connections. I mean, these are short 15 to 20-minute interviews. They're mostly focused on spotlighting you as the guest. But to me, and I share this in my podcast Reach System, this is my primary personal networking tool. When I meet new people, I don't want to paste scripts into direct message where I'm offering coaching sessions and free strategy sessions. Now I don't want to type, "Hi, Christoph, how are you?" That's just silly. When I went, I mean, my intro is, "Hey, great to connect with you. I have a podcast. It's about this. Would you like to be on it?" And that gets an incredible yes rate. So many people say yes, or so many people at least say, "Okay, tell me more." So that opens a conversation more than, "Hi, I notice you is a productivity coach. How are you today? What's keeping you busy?" Like, did you read your profile? Now, let's shift gears for a minute here. And this is the part of this interview where we get to discover a little bit about Christoph Nauer, the man, and create some of that more personal connection. So we have a few questions for you here. This will be a little bit of a lightning round. We'll have some fun. The first is, and this is where you get to really treat your friends when you share this episode with them. What would people who know you be surprised to learn about you?
They may not be surprised, I'm not sure. But one of the things was when I was back in Switzerland after my ex-girlfriend or fiance broke up with me, I volunteered to drive handicapped people to and from appointments. And that was really I mean, what a blessing, you know, and it put everything in perspective, because here I was moping and feeling sorry for myself of getting, you know, having a broken relationship.
We've all been there.
You know, and here these folks, they can't even get around on their own, you know. So it was, you know, a wonderful experience that I'm glad I did. And to this day, and that was 30 years ago, I kind of missed that.
When I moved from Pittsburgh to Las Vegas, I decided I was not going to take my furniture with me. I was just going to buy new furniture in Las Vegas, because by the time I figure out how much it would cost to ship it, I might as well buy new furniture. I donated all my furniture to an organization that provides transitional housing for women and children in need. And what really touched me is when they sent the moving truck to come pick up my stuff, one of the movers said that he was really touched that I was doing this, because as a kid, he and his mom had been in that kind of housing. That just really got me.
Right.
Yeah. What do you hope people say about you when you're not around to hear it?
Well, I hope that they tell everybody else about how wonderful I am and the great results that they're getting from working with me.
Yes.
That they're sharing my book and my my own podcast and everything else.
Absolutely. So if you could go back in time and change one thing you've done, one thing you've seen, one thing that happened, what would it be and why?
Well, years ago, I trusted the wrong person and I made a really bad investment and lost it all. So, so yes, I hope that not to make that mistake ever again.
Right. So I've been there too, and I think a lot of folks have. And the unfortunate thing is sometimes makes people gun shy about getting involved in future partnerships. But the fact is, to be successful, we have to form a mutual assistance community. And when we work together, the rising tide buoys all ships. It took me a few years to get my head wrapped around that most people are basically good if you give them a chance. But at the same time, just do your due diligence. Don't jump in head first, and be very intentional and structured about how your joint ventures work, so that it eliminates a lot of that stuff from the outset. What famous person, alive or dead, would you like to meet? And if you had the opportunity, what question would you have for them?
That was probably one of the most challenging questions that you have put in front of me, Adam.
Yeah.
But one person I think would be Oscar Romero.
Oh, okay. Tell me why.
He had a complete change of heart, you know, from being a right-wing Catholic bishop in El Salvador.
Yeah.
And being basically siding with the oppressive regime.
Yeah.
And then once he changed his mind and heart, he had he ended up giving his life for the cause to work with the poor and the marginalized and the oppressed. And to me, just an incredible, he was just an incredible man. I didn't know him well enough. I mean, he was killed back in the 80s. But his story and his just lives on, So people like that, I'd love to be able to meet and have a conversation with them and talk about it. What made you do what you ended up doing,
I knew who Oscar Romero was. We learned about him when I was in Catholic school in the 1980s, and we were covering liberation theology. So that's a name that's actually very familiar to me. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting you brought him up. What motivates and inspires you to keep going when you're having a tough time or facing a challenge?
Well, I think part of it is my daily routine of meditating for half an hour in the morning and then hopping on my stationary bike for half an hour. And that really helps me focus, and the meditation I do always focuses on abundance. And, we live in a society that is focuses on scarcity.
Yeah.
And so I have to make a conscious decision every day not to get pulled into the scarcity mindset, but focus on abundance. And for me, doing that meditation in the morning helps me tackle the things. We all have experiences where things happen to us that are not pleasant.
Yeah.
But that focus on the abundance and counting your blessings versus your woes has helped me a lot.
Exactly. So finally, and I know you have an invitation for our audience, and I will share that for you. But in general, what is one action you want our listeners to take as soon as they finish streaming this episode?
I would like them all to have a schedule for every day of their lives and to make sure that they include something life-giving on that schedule. Not put yourself last, but put yourself first, just like they tell you on the airplane. And once you have that schedule, stick with it.
Yeah. For example, this afternoon, I have 2 blocks that are labeled break, because I recognize that if I just keep going all day long, and what I normally do during the breaks is I shift physical location, because I find that I can be more productive for a longer period of time when I pick up, go in a car, and go to a different place for a while. So right now, I'm in my home office because I'm in the part of the day where I'm doing interviews. And in an hour or so, I'm going to be in a place where I'm going to be doing some writing. So I have another place I go where I can focus on my writing. And it's just the kinesthetics of picking up and moving recharges the same way that if your car battery is low, simply starting the car will recharge it using the alternator. It's the same type of thing. Yep. So I want to thank you so much for being with us today. And we're going to have you back at some time. There's so much more we have to discuss. But before you go, I know you have an invitation for our listeners, and I'm going to share it with them now. And this is something that, folks, I really encourage you to get in on, because this is a major give. Go to Christoph's website. It's balance6. That's the number 6. balance6.biz. I said that out loud for those of you who are out jogging and driving. For everybody else, you'll see the link in the show notes on our website at www.brilliancepluspassion.com on the post related to this episode. And what you want to do there is check out Christoph's website. It's got a lot of great resources on it. And if you scroll to the bottom of the page, the front page, you will see the opportunity to schedule a breakthrough session. Now, I can tell you that Christoph is very much in demand. He and I had to go back and forth a couple times just to make this appointment work. So his time is at a premium. And as you've already heard, he is somebody who respects the power of time. So respect yourself and your time and your results by going and scheduling a business breakthrough session with him. As I like to say about my own breakthrough sessions, the initial call is free and the opportunities are endless. So with that, Christoph, thank you so much. Once again, it's been an honor, and believe me, in education.
Thank you very much for having me, Adam. I really appreciate it. It was great being here with you.
Thank you for tuning into the Brilliance plus Passion podcast, where we celebrate entrepreneurs, business creators, and brilliant minds who are making a difference for their community, market, and audience. Remember to visit our website at www.brilliancepluspassion.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Brilliance plus Passion podcast.